They say blood is thicker than water, that family comes first, that brothers protect each other no matter what. I believed that once, right up until the moment my younger brother grabbed my shoulder, pulled me in front of him, and used my body as a shield to save his own life. My name is Thomas Brennan. Tommy to everyone who knew me before the war. I was 24 years old in 1945, a Marine corporal in the 1st Marine Division, fighting on Okinawa, the bloodiest battle of the Pacific War. And fighting right beside me, in the same unit, was my younger brother Mikey, 21 years old, our mother's favorite, the golden child. We'd promised her we'd look out for each other, that we'd both come home. I kept my promise. But Mikey, he kept himself alive, at my expense. This is the story I've never told, the secret I've carried for 80 years, the truth about what happened on that ridge, about how my brother survived, and how I learned that sometimes the person who betrays you worst is the one you'd take a bullet for. Except I didn't just take a bullet for him. He made sure I did. Let me take you back. South Boston, 1942, December, right after Pearl Harbor. Everyone was enlisting. Every young man wanted to fight, to prove something, to be a hero. I enlisted first, January 1943, joined the Marines. Our mother cried for 3 days straight, but she understood. It was our duty, what men did. She made me promise to write every week, to come home safe, to make her proud. I promised. 2 months later, Mikey enlisted. Didn't tell anyone he was gonna do it. Just came home one day with enlistment papers and a grin on his face. "We're gonna fight together, Tommy," he said. "Brothers in arms, just like in the movies." Our mother was devastated. One son going to war was hard enough, but both of us? She begged Mikey to wait, to stay home. He was younger. He could defer, work in the shipyards, do his part that way. But Mikey wanted glory, wanted the uniform, wanted to be a hero like his big brother. "Don't worry, Ma," I told her. "I'll watch out for him. I'll keep him safe. We'll both come home. I promise." That was the second promise I made her. And unlike Mikey, I kept mine, even when it nearly ended me. We trained at Camp Lejeune. Different companies, but we saw each other around. Mikey was popular, always had been. Charming, funny, made friends easy. The kind of guy officers liked and enlisted men wanted to drink with. I was different, quieter, serious. I took the training seriously because I knew what was coming. Knew we'd be fighting for our lives. Knew that the skills we learned would be the difference between coming home and not coming home. Mikey treated it like summer camp, joked through rifle drills, goofed off during formations, got disciplined twice for insubordination. But somehow, he always talked his way out of real trouble. That charm, that smile, it got him out of everything. "You worry too much, Tommy," he'd tell me when I tried to get him to take things seriously. "It's gonna be fine. We're Marines. We're invincible." I wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe that confidence meant something, that attitude could stop bullets. But I'd seen too much already. Heard too many stories from guys coming back from Guadalcanal, from Tarawa. I knew better. Mikey didn't know anything, but he thought he knew everything.
We shipped out in March 1944, separate transports. I went to the Marshall Islands first, saw combat at Peleliu in September. That's where I got the scar on my face. Shrapnel from a Japanese grenade. 3 inches to the left, and it would have taken my eye. I wrote to Mikey about it, told him what combat was really like. The noise, the fear, the way men screamed, the way death came fast and round him. I wanted to prepare him, wanted him to understand. He wrote back about the baseball games at his base, about the nurses, about how he couldn't wait to get in the action. He had no idea what action meant.
By some twist of fate or military bureaucracy, Mikey got transferred to my division in February 1945. 5th Regiment, same battalion, different company, but close enough that we saw each other regularly. He'd changed. Still had that smile, that charm. But there was something else now. Something in his eyes. He'd seen combat in the Philippines, had been in firefights, lost friends. "It's different than I thought," he admitted one night. "We were sharing a cigarette in a foxhole on some nameless island waiting for orders. The training doesn't prepare you for what it's really like." "No," I agreed, "it doesn't." "But we're doing good, right? We're winning. We're heroes." I didn't answer that. Heroes. That word, it didn't mean what Mikey thought it meant. April 1st, 1945. Easter Sunday. L-Day. The invasion of Okinawa. The last major battle of the Pacific War. Though we didn't know that then. We just knew it would be bad. The Japanese weren't surrendering anymore. They were fighting to the last man, making us pay for every inch of ground. The initial landings were easier than expected. We got ashore with minimal resistance, but that didn't last. The Japanese had retreated to the interior, to the ridges and caves, to defensive positions they'd spent months preparing. And that's where the real battle began. For 3 months we fought for that island, inch by bloody inch, ridge by ridge, cave by cave. The Japanese fought like demons, banzai charges, suicide attacks, kamikaze planes. They were dying for their emperor, dying with honor. We were just trying to survive. Mikey and I crossed paths every few days, brief moments, sharing rations, comparing notes, checking that the other was still alive, still whole. "Ma's gonna be so proud when we get home," Mikey said one day in May. We were taking a break behind the lines. Hot food, real coffee, a few hours of relative safety. 2 sons, both Marines, both heroes. She'll cry. "If we get home," I corrected. "When?" Mikey insisted. "When we get home. Don't talk like that, Tommy. You'll jinx us." I didn't believe in jinxes. I believed in bullets and shrapnel and luck. And I believed our luck was running thin. June 18th. The date I'll never forget. We were pushing toward Kunishi Ridge, one of the last major Japanese defensive positions on the southern end of the island. Intelligence said it was lightly defended. Intelligence was wrong. It was a fortress, caves, bunkers, hidden artillery positions, machine gun nests. The Japanese had turned that ridge into a meat grinder.
My company was ordered to take the western approach. Mikey's company was hitting from the east. We'd link up at the top. Standard pincer movement. It went wrong from the start.
The Japanese opened fire before we were even halfway up. Machine guns, mortars, artillery. Men started dropping before they could even take cover. The noise was deafening. The air was thick with smoke and dust and the smell of explosives. "Move! Keep moving!" Our lieutenant was screaming, trying to rally us, trying to keep the momentum. But there was nowhere to move to. No cover, just open ground and Japanese positions raining down fire. I saw 3 men go down in front of me. Just collapsed. 1 second running, the next second gone. I kept moving. Training took over. Don't think, just move, just survive. We made it to a shallow depression in the ground, maybe 30 yards from the ridge crest. 8 of us, all that was left of our platoon, pinned down, trapped. That's when I saw Mikey. His company had gotten pushed back from the eastern approach. They'd retreated to regroup, but a squad of them had gotten separated, cut off, and they'd ended up in the same depression we were in. Mikey saw me and his face lit up, even in the middle of hell, even with bullets cutting the air above our heads. He smiled. "Tommy, you made it!" "Stay down," I grabbed his collar, pulled him flat. A burst of machine gun fire stitched across the ground where his head had been a second before. "Thanks," he breathed. "That was close. Too close. What's the situation with your unit?" "Scattered. Lieutenant's gone. Sergeant's trying to rally everyone back at the base of the ridge. We got ordered to hold here until they figure out the next move." Which meant we were stuck. 15 Marines in a shallow hole, with Japanese positions 50 yards away. No support, no reinforcements, no good options. We held that position for 2 hours, the longest 2 hours of my life. The Japanese kept probing, sending small groups to test our defenses. We beat them back, barely. Lost 2 more men. Then the mortars started, Japanese mortars, landing all around us. They had our range. They were just walking the fire in, getting closer with each salvo. It was only a matter of time before they landed right in our position. "We have to move," our sergeant said. He was bleeding from a head wound. Looked like he had a concussion, but he was still thinking, still trying to keep us alive. "There's a rock outcropping 40 yards north. Better cover. We make a run for it on my signal." Everyone nodded, checked their weapons, got ready. Mikey was right next to me, our shoulders touching. Brothers, like we'd promised Ma. "We're gonna be okay," he said. "Right, Tommy? We're gonna make it." I believed it. In that moment, I actually believed it. The sergeant gave the signal. We ran. 15 men sprinting across open ground. Japanese machine guns opened up immediately. Tracers cutting through the air like angry fireflies. Men screaming, running, dying. I was running hard. Mikey right beside me, keeping pace. We were gonna make it. Just 20 more yards. 15. 10. That's when I felt his hand on my shoulder. It happened so fast. His hand grabbed my shoulder, pulled hard, spun me around. For a split second, I thought he was trying to help me. Thought maybe I was falling. Thought he was catching me. But then I saw his face, saw his eyes, and I understood. He wasn't helping me. He was using me. He pulled me in front of him, positioned my body between him and the machine gun fire, used me as a human shield while he changed direction, dove for different cover. And that's when the bullets hit. 3 rounds, center mass. Felt like getting hit by a truck. The impact drove me forward, knocked me face first into the dirt. Couldn't breathe, couldn't move, just pain. Overwhelming, all-consuming pain. Through the haze, I saw Mikey, running. Not toward me, not back to help. Running away, making it to the rock outcropping, making it to safety. Using my body as cover to save himself. I tried to call out, tried to scream his name, but I couldn't get air, couldn't make sound. Just lay there, bleeding, watching my brother run away. The last thing I saw before everything went black was Mikey looking back. Just once, our eyes met, and I saw something in his face. Not guilt, not horror, relief. He'd survived. That's all that mattered to him. I woke up in a field hospital 3 days later. Chest wrapped in bandages, tubes everywhere. Pain like nothing I'd ever felt, but alive. Somehow, impossibly alive. The bullets had hit me in the chest, but they'd hit my ammo pouches first. The ammunition had absorbed most of the impact. Broken ribs, massive bruising, but no permanent damage, no punctured organs. The corpsman called it a miracle, said I was the luckiest Marine he'd ever seen. I didn't feel lucky.
Mikey visited me in the hospital. Came with flowers and a big smile. Acted like nothing had happened. Like he'd just seen me get hit by random fire. Like it was fate. Bad luck. War. You had me scared, Tommy, he said, sitting by my bed, playing the concerned brother. Thought I lost you for sure. But you're tough. Always have been. I stared at him. Searched his face for some sign, some acknowledgement of what he'd done, some guilt, some shame. Nothing. He'd convinced himself it didn't happen, or that it happened differently, or that it was justified somehow. Survival instinct. Not his fault, just war. I saw you, I said, quietly, my voice hoarse. I saw what you did. His smile flickered, just for a second, then came back stronger. What are you talking about? I ran for cover. We all did. You got hit. It was bad luck, Tommy. Wrong place, wrong time. I grabbed you, pulled you in front of me. You're confused. The concussion, the trauma. You're remembering it wrong. I'm not. He leaned closer. His voice dropped, and for the first time, I saw the truth in his eyes. Listen to me very carefully, Tommy. You got hit. Random fire. Bad luck. That's the story. That's what happened. Anything else? Anything else you think you remember? That's just shot talking. Understand? It wasn't a question. It was a threat.
I didn't report him. Didn't tell anyone what really happened. What could I say? My brother used me as a shield? Who would believe me? We'd both been running. Chaos everywhere. Bullets flying. It would be my word against his. And Mikey had always been the better talker. The more charming one. The one people believed. So I kept quiet. Told the official story. Random fire. Bad luck. Heroes in combat. Brothers fighting side by side. The lie tasted like poison.
The war ended 2 months later.
August 1945. Japan surrendered. We were going home, Mikey and I on the same transport ship. Heroes returning home. He acted like nothing had happened, laughed with the other guys, told stories, made plans for when we got back to Boston, talked about parades and celebrations and girls. I stayed quiet, watched him, wondered if I'd imagined it, wondered if maybe he was right and I was remembering it wrong. But I wasn't. I knew what happened, knew what he'd done, knew that my little brother, the one I'd promised to protect, had used me to save himself. And I knew I'd never forgive him for it. We got home in September. Our mother was waiting at the dock, crying, screaming our names, hugging us both, thanking God for bringing her boys home safe. My heroes, she kept saying, my brave boys, my heroes. Mikey ate it up, smiled for the cameras, posed for pictures, told stories about the fighting, made himself sound brave, made himself sound like a hero. I said nothing. Just stood there. Let him have his moment. Let him have his glory. Because what was I gonna do? Tell our mother the truth? Break her heart? Destroy the golden child she loved so much? I couldn't do that to her. So I let Mikey be the hero. Let him have the medals they gave him. Let him have the newspaper articles. Let him have the pride and the respect and the glory. And I carried the truth alone. Mikey got married in 1947. Big wedding. Everyone in the neighborhood came. He was a hero after all. A Marine, a warrior. Girls lined up to dance with him. Men wanted to buy him drinks. Our mother couldn't stop crying with pride. I stood in the back, watched him smile, watched him shake hands, watched him play the part of the hero brother. He caught my eye once, raised his glass to me, smiled. That same smile, the one that said, "We both know the truth, and we're both gonna keep it quiet." I didn't raise my glass back, just turned and walked out. Never spoke to him again after that night. Our mother asked me why I was distant with Mikey, why I never came to family dinners when he was there, why I made excuses every time she tried to get us together. Boys will be boys, she'd say. Brothers fight, but you need to forgive each other. Life's too short to hold grudges. If only she knew. It wasn't a grudge I was holding. It was the truth. The truth that her golden boy saved himself by sacrificing his older brother. The truth that the hero she was so proud of was really a coward who let someone else take the bullets meant for him. But I never told her, never exposed him, because what would it accomplish? She loved him. She was proud of him. Why destroy that? Why make her last years filled with the knowledge that her favorite son was a lie? So I stayed quiet, kept my distance, let Mikey have his hero story, let our mother have her pride. And I carried the weight of that day on Okinawa alone. Mikey passed away in 2003. Heart attack. 79 years old. had lived a full life. Good career, happy marriage, 3 kids, 7 grandchildren. Everyone at his funeral talked about what a great man he was, what a hero, what an inspiration. They asked me to speak, to say a few words about my brother, the war, our bond. I stood at that podium and looked at his casket, looked at his picture, that smile, that same damn smile. Michael was my brother, I said. We served together. We survived together. That's all I have to say. I sat down. People thought I was too emotional to continue, too overcome with grief. They patted my back, told me they understood, told me it was okay. They had no idea. Our mother passed away 6 months later, 94 years old, died peacefully in her sleep. At her bedside, there were pictures of her boys, her heroes, her Marines, both smiling in their uniforms. At her funeral, people told me how proud she'd been of us, how she'd talked about us constantly. Her boys, her heroes, both of them brave, both of them honorable. I nodded, thanked them, accepted their condolences, and I thought, she never knew. She died never knowing what Mikey really was, what he really did. Maybe that's a blessing. Maybe it's better that way. Or maybe it's just another lie I told myself to make it bearable. I'm 104 years old now. Mikey's been gone for 21 years. Our mother for 20. Everyone who was on that ridge in Okinawa is gone. Everyone who might have seen what happened. Everyone who could confirm my story. It's just me now. Me and the truth. People ask me about the war, about my service, about being a Marine. They want hero stories. They want tales of bravery and brotherhood and sacrifice. I tell them war is complicated, that it changes people, that you never really know someone until you see how they act when their life is on the line. They nod, think they understand. They don't. Here's what I learned on that ridge. Brotherhood is just a word. Blood doesn't mean loyalty. Family doesn't mean sacrifice. When death comes close enough to touch, people show you who they really are. And sometimes the person you die for is the same person who'd use you to save themselves. I kept my promise to our mother. I looked out for Mikey. I protected him, even when it meant taking bullets that were meant for him, even when it meant letting him use me as a shield, even when it meant carrying his secret for 80 years. I kept my promise. But Mikey, he only kept himself alive. That's all that mattered to him in that moment. Survival, not honor, not brotherhood, not the promises we'd made. Just survival, at any cost. Do I forgive him? People ask me that. If I could forgive my brother for what he did, for using me, for letting me take his bullets,
for living a lie for 60 years while I carried the truth? I don't know how to answer that. Forgiveness implies he asked for it, implies he admitted what he did, implies there was acknowledgement, remorse, an apology. There was none of that. Just denial, just lies, just that smile that said, "This never happened, and even if it did, you'll never prove it." How do you forgive someone who never admits they did anything wrong?
They say blood is thicker than water, that family comes first, that brothers protect each other no matter what. I believed that once, right up until the moment my brother grabbed my shoulder, pulled me in front of him, and chose his life over mine. He survived, got to live a full life, got to be the hero, got to have our mother's pride and love and admiration. And I got the truth, the burden of knowing what really happened, the weight of carrying a secret that could destroy a family's memory of their golden boy. I chose to carry it, chose to protect him even after he'd used me, chose to let him have his hero story. Maybe that makes me the better brother. Or maybe it just makes me the fool who kept protecting someone who'd already proven they didn't deserve it. I don't know anymore. 80 years later, and I still don't know.
What I do know is this: war doesn't make heroes. It reveals people, strips away the masks we wear, shows the truth of who we really are when everything is on the line. My brother was charming, charismatic, loved by everyone. But when death came close, when the bullets started flying, when it came down to him or me, he chose himself, without hesitation, without remorse. And he lived the rest of his life pretending it never happened. I've carried that truth alone for 80 years, carried the weight of his betrayal, carried the secret that could have destroyed his reputation, his family's image, our mother's pride. I carried it all, because that's what big brothers do. We protect, even when it costs us everything. Even when the person we're protecting doesn't deserve it. Even when they've already proven they'd sacrifice us to save themselves. My brother used me as a shield and survived. That's the truth. The simple, terrible truth. He lived, I lived. We both made it home. We both kept our promise to our mother. But the cost was everything brotherhood is supposed to mean. And I've paid that cost every day since.